Hey everyone, and welcome back to another No Man's Sky guide. Since the release of Sentinel, Outlaws and Endurance, a few things have been either changed or added to the game, so I felt it was about time to do a second part of the Honest Nanite guides. Especially after so many people kept insisting there were quicker methods, you guys should really check the date of when a video is posted, or sometimes just watch the video. You cannot believe how many people comment with a solution that I clearly covered in the video. Anyway, the Honest Nanite guide is intended for players that want to play the game without glitching or duplicating. And today I wanted to add 3 more surprisingly efficient techniques to the list of ways to make honest nanites. Before we kick off and explain and rate the new techniques, here is the list of the methods we covered in part 1. You might see some slight changes to the values in the table, as I did some fine-tuning, but none of the changes make a difference to the order of efficiency. Perhaps you recall that ship scrapping took the overwhelming lead, as it only took you about 20 minutes to collect 13,000 nanites. The question is, will any of the new techniques be good enough to take the lead? Since the Outlaws update released, pirate stations have been pretty convenient to quickly obtain items like larva and hadal cores. Now, we covered those in the previous guide already, but the difference here is that the time you need to collect them in an Outlaw station is drastically lower and less dangerous than having to find them in the wild. Apart from that, it is not the only thing you can buy here. Each station has a pretty great stock of suspicious packages, which can be analyzed once purchased. While only technology and weaponry packages will give you module upgrades, in today's tests I will also be purchasing the other types just to see how much value you are getting out of those. I would advise you, if you're planning on doing this method, to have visited a whole bunch of pirate systems before, so they are in your teleporter history, because now for this test I will teleport from one Outlaw station to the other for the next 15 minutes. In each station I will be purchasing the hadal and the larva cores and all the suspicious packages. Now, while I'm doing that, I want to point out as well that it is not possible to jump between Outlaw stations, and also not from an Outlaw station to a regular station. Therefore, I'm using my freighter as a relay point to travel between them. You can also use a planetary base to do so. After 50 minutes, this is what I have collected in larva and hadal cores and suspicious packages. Now it's time to refine those cores, and after that we will be analyzing and selling the module upgrades. Refining these cores takes only seconds, and in about 1 minute I will have refined 4,250 nanites. And now it's time to analyze the packages. It will take me about 2 minutes to open the packages and sell the module upgrades for nanites. So in less than 20 minutes we earned 9,500 nanites, simply by buying, refining and selling items from Outlaw stations. So, if you would like to add this to our table now, then to earn 150 nanites, this would mean it takes about 20.5 seconds in total. Which means this method takes a nice snug second place below ship scrapping, at least for now. The next technique that is now available is hunting for hungry tendrils. Since Endurance, these have returned and can now be found on nest planets. But there is a bit of a catch with this one, because, at least for now, the visceral synthesizer is not available on most safes. Only if you would have held on to your emergence expedition, you would still have access to it. Of course, it is possible to save edit the blueprint into your new save, but this is not something everybody can do, and you can also not trade it with other players. So depending if you have access to the visceral synthesizer or not, this method will have different efficiency. As mentioned already, hungry tendrils are only found on nested planets. Once you found yourself a nest planet, you can simply fly low over the planet's surface and you should be looking out for worm burrows. They are pretty easily spotted, and they also show up on your radar in case they render in a little bit slow. With a bit of luck you can actually find a few burrows nearby, which speed up the collecting for sure. Once you get close enough to the burrow, these hungry tendrils will pop out of the ground and will attack you when you're close enough. Shooting one of these hungry tendrils will automatically cause biological horrors to spawn, so you will have quite your hands full with this. Now, once a hungry tendril is killed, it will drop 2 things: fleshy ropes, which are automatically added to your inventory, and vile spawn, which looks like eggs and only can be collected for a very short amount of time. To pick them up, however, you also need the visceral synthesizer. After 50 minutes of worm murder, you should have collected quite some items. Because I have the visceral synthesizer, I picked up both fleshy ropes and vile spawn, and quite a nice collection of them. In total I have 39 vile spawn and 41 fleshy ropes. Both fleshy ropes and vile spawn take no time to refine, very similar to the larva and hadal cores. Still, as mentioned before, depending if you have the visceral synthesizer, the result will be different. Let us say you are not in possession of it. This means to earn 150 nanites, you will spend 66 seconds collecting them and another 5 seconds refining them, which places this technique just above the lava cores. However, if you're able to collect also the wild spawn during your run, you can easily collect 150 nanites in 34 seconds and refine them for another 4 seconds, which means this technique beats lava cores by almost half the time. Still, not good enough to beat the king of nanites ship scrapping or even take the second place. But we have one more technique left, and it's one of the most favored techniques since the Sentinel update. Still, is it more efficient than ship scrapping? To test this out, I have set up a little area here, so I have a decent spot to take cover if needed. I also have a greatly improved boltcaster installed, so I can take out the sentinels quick enough. We are doing this test on a planet with aggressive sentinels, as the first wave will come with 2 summoners. A little spoiler here. If you do this technique on a regular planet, the summoner cannot keep up with you and you have a lot of dead air between summoning. This makes it a rather inefficient method and it will cause this technique not to reach the top 3 of methods. I will be killing sentinels for 50 minutes straight and afterwards I will be collecting all the canisters remaining. In the meantime, I would like to advise you to never kill the summoners during this battle. Killing a summoner will automatically trigger a replacement, which most likely will be a quad. And the quad will not only keep you busy, every time you kill it, you will get another replacement and the wave will build up. By leaving both summoners alive, you will stay in wave 1 and the battle should be pretty manageable. Of course, make sure you're well prepared, have a decent multi-tool and also be well shielded. Another thing I might mention, which goes for all techniques by the way, make sure your inventory is empty and ready to collect the items. After 50 minutes of fighting, we have stacked up a nice load of canisters, so now we only need to collect all of them. This will take about 3 minutes, depending a bit on how bothersome the sentinels are. So, in total it took me 18 minutes to collect them all. I did shoot some canisters during the battle to recharge my shields, so we did already collect about 1200 nanites during the battle. In total, I have collected 106 salvaged glass, which I will have to analyze and sort out. I also have some pugnium, which I could refine, but that would take about 26 seconds for only 200 nanites, so I prefer to sell it. Now, analyzing and selling is gonna take me a few minutes. As well, we're gonna have some trade commodities to sell. For the sake of this guide, I will only focus the time on the collection and the selling for nanites, but I still will share how much money I have made during this time. After analyzing the salvaged glass, you can see we have already quite some upgrade modules. We also have some trade commodities and even 4 boundary maps, which is very handy if you want to do this all over again. I will continue analyzing these and selling the trade commodities, and I will skip ahead to where I'm about to sell the upgrade modules. This little adventure of 20 minutes has brought me 23,900 nanites and a little nice sum of units as well. So if we now calculate the time we have spent on this, and then what we would need for 150 nanites, you can see ship scrapping is no longer king and will have to be happy with second place. Of course, because of RNG, many of the times these runs will vary, and sometimes with some luck you will have some really amazing runs. Still, to beat sentinel hunting, you will need to have a lot of luck, as it is twice as quickly as the second in line. If you would like to learn more about the other techniques, you can of course check out part 1 of this guide. But as you can see, the latest 3 new techniques have taken a place in the top 5 of most efficient and honest techniques. I hope this updated guide has given you enough information on which one of the techniques are more efficient. Now, one more thing. While ship scrapping and purchasing items from outlaw stations are great techniques, you will need some serious investments to be able to purchase it. So this is where sentinel hunting and even worm hunting could be more efficient to you. Still, if you're in need of money, there are some great ways to do so. One of them is by building an activated indium farm, which I will share a link to right here. If you enjoyed this guide, please hit the thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. This was Beeblebum. Goodbye for now.